Good evening, everyone. I'm welcoming us again to another live session, and we are now commencing the live session for the Microsoft Excel course. We are also going to be looking at Google Sheets, but we are going to be starting from Excel because the same principle holds for both of them. Like before, I said that our live webinars will be for projects and not to take topics. Almost every topic we are going to be covering are already on the YouTube channel. So we should please go there and learn those basics, practice them by ourselves. At the description section of each course, of each video, we are going to be seeing the link to where we can access the workbook. So, but in this session today, I'm going to be taking us through a walkthrough, and at the same time, we are going to be doing probably a small project. So let us get at it. When we open a Microsoft Excel on our computer, it will take us to this page. So this page, we will see this row, which is showing us that if we want to open a blank workbook or we want to go for a template. If we want to go for templates, you can go to this place for more templates if the ones here are not enough for us. If we want to go for a blank workbook, which is what we are going to be using majority of the time, you can come here. If we have a recent workbook that we have used, you can just come here and click on any of these. Assuming we don't have those recent here, you can come here for more workbook. When you click here, you can get access to some of the previous workbooks that we have. So all of this was explained in the lecture series, which are on YouTube. Here are the access to the back end of Excel. We are going to be doing some things here, but not today. So today, let's look at a blank workbook. So when we click on this blank workbook, it's going to take us to something like this. And I said in the series that when we have access to this is just a sheet. This is just one sheet out of many sheets that we can have inside a workbook. So when we are working inside Excel, we are working inside a workbook, which is like our normal notebook. When we have our normal notebook, we can have several sheets. But in Excel, we can also have several sheets, but we have to create them by ourselves. So this here is a sheet. If I click on this plus sign here, this is another sheet. You see that it is sheet 2. And I said that we can name our sheet. So if you click on it like this and double click, you can see I can name this as worksheet 1. So I can say this is worksheet 1. So I can double click on it, this one again, or I can right click. If I right click, you can say, okay, I can insert a new workbook here. I can delete this workbook. I can rename it. So I can hide this workbook. All of this was explained in the series. You can go and look at it. And then we have the upper part here. This upper part, each of these here is called a ribbon. So we can also zoom or increase the size of our worksheet. So if I click here, you can see now I have increased the size. So if I come to the middle here again, it has come to normal. So each of these tabs is like an opening to several tools that we can use in Excel. So this is the home tab. You can see all of these group. So when you see something like this, it is telling us that for this group, there are also more options. So if I click on this now, you can see that there are more options, and then so on like that. If I want to go back, I can come here to press this icon. You see this icon undo, it will undo whatsoever I have done. Now, so I want to close here. Now you can look at formula tab, you can see developer tab, you can see, and so on and so forth. These are the options that you can use in each of these tabs. Now, we can also create a new tab. You can see here that there's a new tab. If you check your computer or your Excel, you are not going to be seeing this new tab. So you can create your own new tab, which you can use for some purposes. So that is possible. Now, I said that when we want to click on a cell, if you have a cell like this, let me go back to normal. Yes. If you have a cell like this, you can see this cross here is a select cross. If I press on this, it's going to click on this cell. And we say that this is a cell, and then this is a column. This is a row. Each of the column has a header, like a title. So this is column A, column B, column C, and then column D. Then we have a row. This is row 1, row 2, row 3. Now we have a cell. A cell is like a junction between a row and a column. So this particular one now is between row A, between column A and row 3. So it is A3. And that is why when you click inside any cell, just look at the small box here. This small box, it will tell you where you are. You can see this is C3. If I click here, this is J5. And this is J column and row 5. So you can go and watch the cell referencing video on YouTube. It is there, and I've explained all of this. Now, let me start by working with a data set. Now, if you want to come out of here, you can click here. Let me go back, click on file. When you click on file, you go back to the back end. Here, you can do other things you want to do. You want to create another blank workbook, or if you want to go to an existing one. So I will be going to an existing workbook today. Like I said, in these sessions, we are not going to be working with I'm not going to be teaching new topics. Rather, we are going to be working on projects. So please, let's go through our videos on the YouTube channel so that we can be able to follow me adequately. So this is a worksheet, and then inside a workbook, I want to use this data to do a lot of work, but I will not be working inside this particular workbook. So I will just copy this data into another workbook, and I will start working in it, so that some of us who are new can see that you can copy data from one workbook to another workbook. So you can see that this is workbook I have now, customer demographics and sales. So for example, so I'm going to copy everything here. So let me zoom so that you can see. So I said before that if you want to copy, there are several ways to copy. But if you want to copy everything inside a worksheet, or if you want to highlight everything inside a worksheet, including the empty cells, you can just click on this edge. You can see this. When you click on it, it will highlight everything. And when I click Ctrl C, so Ctrl C, You can see, if you look here, you can see that you can see these highlights. I have copied this. Now I'm going to my new workbook. So the one I created the other time. So worksheet 1 now, I will click on the first cell and I will press Ctrl V. So if I press Ctrl V, you can see everything has been copied here. However, let me go back. So I will press undo or Ctrl Z. Let me press Ctrl Z. You can see now we are back. So I want to paste again using another option. So if I click on this, I right click, you can see paste options. So you can see paste, you can see paste as values. Paste as values, we are going to be working on it later. Then formula and code. So I just choose this paste now, and then you can see we are here. Now, good. So for the purpose of what we want to do today, I will copy some part of this data to another sheet. So let me look at the part I want to copy, just to show us that you can copy from a workbook to another workbook, and we can copy within workbooks. So this is worksheet 1. Let me name this worksheet. Let me call it a working page. Working page. Good. Now, I don't want to copy everything here. So what I will do is that I will copy everything here, but I'm going to delete them later. So let me copy it now. Ctrl C. Then I'm pasting here. Good. For the purpose of our work today, I just want some columns. So I want the customer name. I don't want address. So I'm going to delete address. So you can see when I click on this letter here, and you can see the icon. When I click on it like this, you can see that the whole column has been highlighted. So I can click on it and say delete. So I have deleted it. City is okay, state is okay. But before we go on, you can see that some part of these cells are like overlapping. Let me see. Okay, they are not overlapping. Some are still overlapping. So when they are overlapping like this, you can just put your cursor here, and then you can see this arrow at this point. When you double click, it's going to make it open. But the issue here is that if you have 100 rows, and you see address is showing the same thing, postal code the same thing, you have to be clicking one after the other. It is not effective. So what do? Come to this place again. So let me zoom. Come to this place again. When you click on it, everything is elected, isn't it? So just come here to the first cell or first column or anywhere and double click. And you will see that every cell, every column has been addressed and adjusted to fit the column. So that is how to go about it when you want to do it for a lot of columns. Good. Now, I want customer name, I want city, I want state, I want country code, but I don't want postal code. So I can click on this, but I can click on this. But if I want to click on so many columns at the same time, what should I do? I can just left click. That is, when I left click like this, I can drag it. You can see now I'm dragging, and I'm selecting so many. No, so I'll be able to select this four. I don't want them, but I want credit card. How can I jump to this place? So just press on control. When you press on control key, automatically is going to hold it like this. So I can go here and then adjust it, and then I want the salesman ID. I want to remove nationality. You can see that I've clicked on it, and this one is also clicked. Why? Because I am holding my control key. So I can also drag. I'm dragging now, dragging now. So I'm coming. So I'm dragging it, customer ID, and then as long as I am pressing my control key, I'm in charge. So I'm still going around here. So yes, this one too, I'm removing it. So you may have to practice this thing on your own several times. So these two, I'm also working on them. So I'm not touching the date, I'm not touching the date, I'm not touching the age and value. Now, what I will do is that at this point, I will remove my hand from the control key. So, and then I will left click. When I left click like this, you can see the option delete. Assuming I want to copy this, I can click on copy, but that may have issue, so I will delete. So when I delete like this, you can see all those parts that I highlighted has been deleted. You can see all of them have been deleted. Now, I want this one to be deleted too. I can just click on them straight away, click, delete. So that is gone. So I want to leave this one alone. Then from this generation to the end, I want to delete them too. So I know that everything from here to the end, you can see the end is still far. So I want to delete them. So instead of me to be clicking and be dragging like this, you understand? I can do something. I can click on this. So I can click on this, press Ctrl Shift. When I press Ctrl Shift and I press the right arrow, Ctrl Shift and then the right arrow key, you can see now that it has taken me to the end automatically. So if I drag this, so let me start again. So from here, from generation here, it's still there, but I will stop it. So Control Shift and then the right key. So you can see that's taking me to this level. I'm still pressing my Control Shift key. Then I will press the down key. You can see now that's taking me to the end. You can see that's taking me to from that place automatically. So I can go up and see that everything is well alerted. I have removed my hand from the Control Shift now. So you can see I can check that what is highlighted is what I want and inspect it. You can see that it doesn't go beyond where our data is. I can now put my select cursor here, right click and say delete. So it's asking me to shift the cell left or right. So I will choose left. So okay. And then that is where we are. So now you can see that we have been able to cut our data down. You can see customer name, city, state, country code, credit card type, salesman ID, flight charges, the order ship date, the age, the order value, and transaction type. So this one here, I want to remove it too. So let's delete it. And then this one too, I want to delete it. So this is an empty column, I'm deleting it. and then so we have our other value and co. Now, this is what I want, but before I go forward, I want to create another sheet because I don't want to use all of this data. I want to use the first 10 rows in this data. So how do I go about it? You remember what I did the other time? I will click on this the first cell, Control Shift. I will press the right arrow key. You can see now. So when I press the right arrow key, if I press down now, it will take me to the end. Do you understand? And I don't want this. What do I want? What I want is the first 10 rows. Now, instead of pressing Control Shift, I will only press Shift alone. When I press the Shift key and I press on the arrows, so now I'm pressing the right arrow, you can see it's going one after the other. With this, I can control how much I want to go. So I'm going to the end, and then I'm pressing the down arrow now. So the down arrow, you can see. So with this, I can go to just 10. Now I am at number 10. So I will just copy this, and then I will go to a new sheet. I will call this real sheet. Real sheet. Good. And then I will Control V. You can see now that everything here has been copied. Now, the issue we had the other time, we are having it again. Some of the cells are overlapping. So if I do like this, you can see it's working here, but all of these are still there. So I will click on this. Let me zoom. So I will click on this. You can see this triangle here. Click on it, and then I will double click here once, and you can see that everything has been sorted out. Very good. So let me unzoom again. If you look carefully, you will see that there are like banded columns and banded rows. In that, look at this place is different from this place. Assuming I want my data to be normal, I don't want this table around this. What should I do? I will come to this place. Under Home, I will come to Cell Style. Cell Style is where we decide how our cell is looking like. So we click here. So if I want to change it, I can use any of these, but I will click on normal. If I click on normal now, you see that it's still not changing. No, why? Because I didn't highlight everything. So I will highlight everything, and then I will click on normal. So you can see that everything is now looking the same way. Good. So at this point, we are going to be looking at cell formatting in Microsoft Excel or in a worksheet. What is the essence of formatting our cell? The essence of formatting our cell is so that our cell, each content of our column, can be put in a type of data type that we want them to be. For example, let me zoom again. If you look carefully, look at the other ship date here. Other ship date, you can see it. You can see what is written here, 42731. This is not the date. Because if you go to the first worksheet and you check the other ship date, you can see that the other ship date is like this. You can see how it is. Let me zoom so that you can see. The other ship date is like this. This is a date, isn't it? But when we come to our real sheet, when we copy from that place to this new sheet, Microsoft Excel has changed things for us. You can see here now it's written like this. This is a date format that is not useful. How do we go about that? Good. You can see our freight charges. You can see 9 here. It doesn't have a decimal place. This one is in 2 decimal places. How do we convert them? That is where cell formatting comes into place. So before you start analyzing your data, you have to put your data in the right formatting, because if you do not do that, you are going to be in deep trouble. So this small data set, let us format it. When you want to format, you see the Home tab. Look at this small group here. This group is where we format our data. You can see this icon. That is where we can access more tools or more options to format our data. You can see this is general. General means that Excel just try to put your data type to what it thinks it is based on its own desire. Now, let's continue. If you click on this icon, you are going to see general, you see number, currency, short date, long date, and so on and so forth. But the point is that these options might not be enough sometimes. How do we go about that? If I scroll down, you can see other things. Then you can go to more number format. When you click on this, it gives us more options. But if you click on this icon too, it will still give us more options. Good. So let us start one after the other. This column here is a text column. So general will work for it, but you can make it a text by just coming down here and say text. You can see now it's a text. The same thing go for city, but I'm okay with general here. The same thing go for this. Now, this is a number. I'm not comfortable using general here. So what am I going to use? I'm going to use number. Now, let's use number. So you can see now that immediately I converted this to number. This 9, let me undo it. Undo. You can see that this 9 here, let me zoom again. You can see that this 9 here is 9, but it's like an integer. If you have done our first course in statistics, I spoke about integer and float. You see that this is like an integer. So, which is just 9, it doesn't have a decimal place. But immediately I convert it to number. You can see it has become 9.00. It has turned it into number. But ask me again, this is a freight charges. It is a currency value. So we don't just want it to be a number, rather we want it to be in currency format. And then we are going back there and we are choosing on currency. Now, if we look at this currency here, the currency is in Naira. So if I click on this, oh, sorry, I'm not clicking here. So if I click on here and I go back here, we click on currency. So you see that this currency is in Naira. Why? Because Excel believe that I'm in Nigeria. So it has been automated to convert to Naira. Assuming we are doing a project for somebody in US and they want us to format in dollar. So what do? The options here does not help us. because it's only in Naira. That is where we need to go to more number formats. So I click on it. Now you can see. So I'm on currency now, isn't it? So this is currency. I'm on currency. I hope you are seeing clearly. And if I look here, you can see symbol. Inside this place, you can see symbol. So under the symbol, I will click on it. You can see this Naira, this American, this Armenian currency. So let me go to dollar. So you can see this English United States. So I will click on English United States. You can see that. And then decimal places. I can increase to 4 decimal places. I'm using only 2. I'm okay with 2. And then I will click on OK. You can see now that our currency has changed to dollar and in 2 decimal places. Are we together? So now, this is how we can format this to a currency, so that by the time we start analyzing the future, this will be showing in form of currency. For example, if I press total here now, like I want to know the total of our currency. So, and I press equal to sum. So, and I calculated the sum of this. You can see that this total is also in dollar. So, which means that anything we are doing is going to be in this format. Good. Now, let us go to our dates. You can see this is not a date. How do we go about it? Let's go back here again, and then we say we want it to be a date. And Excel says you can use a short date or a long date. So let us click on short date. You can see now it's now a short date. But let's say we want long date, and then we click on long date. You can see. But let's assume that we have a master, and our boss said, no, I want 27, I want December 1st, and then before the day. So I don't want this format. What do we do? We have to go to more options. So when you click here, you go to more options. You can see here now that we have Wednesday 14 March. Another option is here, Wednesday March 14. You understand now? So let's go down again. So you can see that you can choose another type and say, okay, Wednesday March 14 instead of Wednesday 14 March. And we can also customize if we want. So let's choose another type and then we go. And here we are. Now for the short date, let's go there again. You can see that this is a short date. But assuming somebody say, no, we want the hyphen in between instead of the backslashes or the forward slashes. What do? We go to this place again and go to date. You can see this one here that is in form of hyphens. So if you click on it, we go and see that it has changed to this. Assuming we want to customize it, how do we go about customizing? We want to customize this thing. If you look here, you will see this custom. You will see a custom option here. If you click on the custom option, you can see that it has brought a custom option for us. And with the custom option, I can do a lot of things. So I can change. So if I click on this, you can see this here. I'm clicking on this now. So I'm saying, no, I want year in 2. So just 2 letters to represent year. And I want only 1 letter. Only 1 letter to represent the month. So if I click this, you can see now that it has changed into 2 years, into a year with just 2 letters. You can see 2 letters, 2 letters, 2 letters, and so on and so forth. So I think we should be able to understand how this has worked. We will need to practice all of these by ourselves so that we can understand how it goes. So you can see that here now we have 2016, but it's just showing 16 alone. And then these are our dates, our day, and this is our month. So these are the ways through which we can actually play around the values and format ourselves. Let's look at age. Age, you see that it's also in general. We want to convert it to number. You can see it's a number, so it's now 40.0 and co. You don't want our age to be in 40.0, but we want it to be in number. So what we do? We reduce the decimal places. And then how do we do that? Just come to this icon here. You can see this is a percent, this is comma, and you can see this arrow here is the decimal places. So let's click on this one. Let's see what happens. You can see now it's reducing it. Now we are back. If I click on this, it's increasing it. I go back and we have this. And then we are good to go. You can see now how our data have been formatted for age. And now it's a number and it's in no decimal place like we want. Or let's say it's in 0 decimal place. Other value is a currency. We want it to be in currency. And then we click on currency. It's giving us naira. We want it to be in dollar. So we go back to option here. I'm going to America, English, United States, and then there we are. So we have been able to format ourselves. Good. Having done this, there is another topic I want us to look at before we go. And so now we are going to be looking at how to format our data into a table. So formatting data into a table is a very important process in using a spreadsheet. Why is it important? I will show us by example. Now, when you want to format a table, a data into a table in Microsoft Excel, how do we do it? Just click inside the data. When you have done so, come to the Insert tab. When you click the Insert tab, you are going to see table. You see pivot table, recommended pivot table. We are still going to be getting here later in the future. So we are going to look at table. When you click on this table, you can see that you can see these arrows around here. And then you can see this small table here or small pane here. It's saying where is the data for your table. So you see that this is from A1 to A10 to N10. This is from here to here. If I adjust it and I say to 9 or 8, if I put 8 here, you can see that it has reduced, but I'm not going to use that. I will use 10 because that is what I want. Another thing to look is that look at this icon here. You see my table has headers. You must click on this. It's very, very important. So click on it. That is when the table we are creating now, we actually put into consideration that our data has header. So let's click on OK. You can see now that this is inside a table now. You can see. So let me remove these two, delete them out of the place. Now, when you have a table like this in Excel, The first thing is that when you click inside the table, just look up. You will see this table design. If you click outside the table, you won't see it again. So click inside there, you have it. When you click on this icon, it will take you to a new page where you can do a whole lot of things to your table. Now, you can change the color. So look at all the design. You can click on this, you can see it has changed. If I click on this, it has changed. If I click on this, you can click on this. Now, if I want more options, I can click on this. It will give us all these several options. But I'm still okay with this initial. Let me look this one. I'm okay with this one. Good. Now, come here at this place. You can remove all these filters. If I uncheck this, you can see the filters are not there again. So I need the filter to work. I'm putting it. If I click on this first column, it will involve the first column. If I uncheck it, it won't work with it. So I need the first column. If I click on, okay, first column, you can see that it has made the first column to be highlighted. So if I remove it, you can see now. If I put total row, let me click on total row. You can see that it has put a new row here called total. And let's look at it. So that with total row, we can also do some things, but I don't need total row for now. But I may need it, assuming I want to be adding all of this together, I can just put it inside here. Now, another important thing we should do with our table is to name it. When you come here, you see table name. So when you click on it like this, when you want to name a table, any name you want to give that table, there must not be a space. So let's say I want to say customers table. So I have put a space here. It's not going to work. You see, it's not working. But I will just say customers underscore table. It's going to work. So we have our table name. If I want to resize our table, look at below the table name here. I can just click on it. You can see now it has given me option to resize the table. So I can just say, oh, let me cancel, resize. I can just click on here and say 8. I want to row 8. If I press enter, you can see that it's now at row 8. These two are not involved again. But another option to do that is to go down like this. At the edge of the table, you can see this green icon here. Let me zoom. You can see it, this green icon. When you have this green icon, you can see I can use it to drag my table up or drag it down. So now I drag it down and then I have extended my table without having to use this option here. Good. Now, why is it important to put your data inside a table? Let's look at it. You remember that we have some data here. So let me copy some data from here now. I will copy from here. So let me say I'm copying from 510. Now good. I'm copying here, copy, and then I come to my table. Assuming this is a new data. If I just put it below the next row and I press Ctrl V. Oh, they are not of the same size. So there is a problem somewhere. So let me just use this. Let me type. So as soon as I say, okay, master's card, and I press enter, you can see that the table has adjusted itself. If I put another one and I say visa, you see that the table has adjusted itself. So by the time you start working like this, as you are adding new data, the table will continue to be adjusting itself. But if I go a step, I jump a row and I come here, you see nothing happens. The same thing happens here too. If I say name or main and I press enter, and see it has added to the table. I think we should stop here today. We are going to be continuing in the next session, which is going to be on Sunday. Thank you very much until we meet then. So any question?